Welcome to What's the Effort?
What the Effort?
Hello. Welcome to this week's episode of What the Effie. And today I'm very, very honored to have Peter Garaway. Peter, thank you. Thank you very, very, very much.
Absolutely. Man, I'm like giddy watching your intro and seeing so many familiar faces and just rock stars and real estate and SubTo and you with them. So cool. So thank you so much. It's a complete honor and privilege to be on this show with you.
Well, I feel very honored to have you. So I again, thank you very, very much. Now, one of the questions I want to ask you, and I don't know, sometimes I ask this, other times I don't. But I'm kind of curious as to, I have my guests choose a movie. And you had chosen Gladiator. And I wanted to know why that movie.
Yeah. There's definitely some pressure choosing, a movie like a favorite or something that resonates with me. And for some reason, Gladiator has just always been a favorite of mine. It was actually the only movie that I could remember that I ever went to the theater twice to see. I just love the story. I love the gladiators, just resilience, what he went through. Just the trauma of losing his wife and kid and the purpose that he was fighting for through so much just adversity and just challenge after challenge being put in front of him. And he always just rose to the top and always, did right to those around him. As I think about my real estate journey and throughout my life, it's just, you're met with challenges in life, and it's all about how you respond to those. So I thought the Gladiator was just an awesome example and kind of testimony to that.
Absolutely. I get that completely. I wondered if it had spoken to you that way or whether it was just something about the movie, because people choose movies for different reasons. So I want to say thank you for that. And hi, Ryan. Thank you for
Ryan,
being here.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, very nice to see you, Ryan.
Good guy right there.
Totally good guy.
Yeah,
I like an awful lot about him. So I would like to begin by asking you a little bit about what kind of start did you have in life? Talk to me about where you were, a little bit about your family, and siblings. What was your life like at the beginning?
At the beginning, sure. So I've basically born and raised in the Bay Area in California. I am the youngest I have a half brother and half sister, and then I have 4 sisters between that. So I kind of come from a big family. The 2 half brothers and siblings weren't always in the home, but I was basically raised by, I say, 5 moms, being that I was the youngest, the only boy with 4 sisters. Yes, so I guess that all, maybe the whole Gladiator thing, that's why it resonates as well. It started from a very young age. I had to battle my way through with 4 older sisters with me, but they were great. I think I was spoiled a ton with them as well. And I like I said, we moved down. My eldest sister, she got very into surfing at a young age. She was 15 and I was 10 years younger than her. So at 5 years old, surfing kind of was introduced to our family through my eldest sister. And we are about like an hour away from the coast. So my God bless my mom, she would wake up before my sister started school and drive her to the beach to be able to surf like once a week. So she would get up around 5 a.m, drive over and drive her back. But that kind of my sister's love for the ocean kind of turned into my family's love for the ocean. So we ended up moving down by the time I was 7 years old. And
So at this point, I've got to show our viewers
okay. Yep.
how cute
That's
you
good,
were.
dude.
You were a toddler there. I know toddlers because I have one in the house, or I'm in your house. That is such a precious picture with those
Yeah.
front teeth. So at this point, I mean, you were a beautiful child. Didn't the girls, weren't they tempted to dress you up like girls, like put pigtails in your hair and things like that?
They were more than tempted. Yeah, they saw it through. I was definitely dressed up. My hair was their canvas because I don't know if this was just an 80s child back there or if that was actually what the typical boy was wearing, but they might have had some influence on that outfit right there.
Talk to us about this picture.
Okay, so yeah, this is my eldest sister, Heather, who I mentioned that really got us into surfing. So I was probably about 7 years old here.
And how old was Heather?
She was 17.
Oh,
Yeah.
10 years apart.
Yes. Yeah. 10
Okay.
years apart.
Wow.
So by I think I was 6 years old the first time I went surfing, and by the time I was 7, we moved down to the beach, and I was hooked.
Where down to the beach? Because
yeah, so this was in
the
Santa Cruz.
Bay Area. There, I don't think surfing.
Yep. So this is Santa Cruz. So this is if you're in San Jose, about 45 minutes over the mountain, or in San Francisco, if you take the one, it's about an hour down the coast.
Right. Right. And you see Santa Cruz is there too.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So you started when you were 6, and I was able to, this is an incredible picture. Talk about this one. How old were you? What was going on?
Yeah. So basically, I'll do this really quick. At 9 years old, I started surfing competitively. I was homeschooled throughout my life. I spent 6 hours in the day during, every day in the ocean surfing. By the time I was 12 years old, 12, I was traveling around the globe surfing for competing around the world, and I gained sponsorship. And around this age, I think I hit about 19 here. And I got at like 17, 18. There's kind of two paths to go in surfing. There's what might be like the competitive path, which is like equivalent to the PGA Tour, where you're just making different stops around the globe and you're competing to win, best golfer. And then for surfing, it's very similar. You compete to be the best surfer in the world. But I got really kind of burnt out on competing, the competition side of it. It was kind of sucking the joy out of what I consider like a very pure sport, and it was just, it was causing more frustration. So I chose to go more what you call like the exploration type, and being featured in magazines and movies where I was exploring kind of uncharted or like places where people wouldn't think, of surfing. So the off West Africa and the Cape Verde Islands, or the Falkland.
Wow.
Yeah, the Falkland Islands. Actually, out by your way, I went out to Minnesota and went surfing in the Great Lakes.
Wow.
Yeah,
when you say out my way, I thought you were going to say Tofino, because I grew up in Vancouver. So Tofino is the only place in Canada you can surf.
Sure.
A wetsuit. So have you ever been to Tofino out of curiosity?
I haven't. No.
Oh my God, it's so freaking gorgeous. But the Falkland Islands?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a unique experience. They hadn't really seen surfers there, so there's a lot of puzzled looks when we come, because when you bring your surfboards there, they come in about an 8-foot long bag, and, right? I don't know, a few feet thick, so they look very much like coffins. So when people came, like, what are you dragging, around behind you there?
Yeah,
but it was fun.
I will say that I found one and only one video of you. And it's not from the very beginning because it featured someone else, but I'm going to show it because it's really incredible to see what a young man you are. or
What
were.
a
So here we go.
was there
Wow.
we go. There's the locks. Yeah, you really did your research, Effie.
Oh, yeah.
Good work.
So you and that young man were featured on that, and I noticed he had a Greek name, Nick Agrigopoulos. Okay, how old were you then?
So I think in there I must have been that looked about 18 or something like that. Yeah, 19. Yeah, right around that age.
Cool.
Uh, so yeah, it was a blast. So thankful for the opportunity to be able to travel the world and get that experience.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That would be the dream of many young people that are on near an ocean and that are fit. And like you said, those locks. I mean, gosh.
Yeah, no, yeah, no longer there.
Hey, neither is my youth, but I enjoyed it while I had it.
Exactly.
So, that is very interesting to see that is where you came from. How old were you when you hung up the surfboard, let's say?
Yeah,
Or
so
do you still surf, as for exploration or competition or any of that? Talk about, is
yeah,
it still in
not
your life?
yeah, it's still very much a part of my life, but it's certainly not the focus as marriage and kids came into the picture.
Mhm.
That took a back seat. But what is great is my kids love they love surfing, they love being at the water. So currently I'm about an hour away from the beach where my home is now, but we do make frequent trips, and I'll get up before the day starts and drive down early, then get back before school pickup and things like
Or
that.
are
So
you still in Santa Cruz?
no, so I'm in the East Bay now, and Walnut Creek, which
Oh,
for
I
those
know
who may
Walnut
not
Creek.
know, yeah,
Mhm.
Oakland, Walnut Creek is just on the other side of San Francisco.
Cool, cool. Wow.
Yes.
So about how old were you when you actually stopped and met this young lady?
There we go. So yeah, this was in 2005. So I was 20 years old when I got married. Uh,
Wow.
Yes. So on the younger side, at least it seems like people keep pushing back when they get married as the years go on. But I was 20 years old here, and which was great is that my wife, that's Jessica, she got the we got to travel together. So I continued surfing for about another 4 years professionally. So we got
Okay.
to travel the world together, which
Mhm.
was super neat. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. And as we kind of progressed, as we're going into a few years of marriage, and we knew that kids were on the horizon, I started to have the look. Yes, that was my first Olivia, and she started high school today, which yeah blows my
Wow.
mind. I'm gonna get teary eyed
Wow.
here.
Wow.
Uh,
Oh,
so yeah, this was our first Olivia. And once
geez.
I knew that she was in the picture, that kind of drove me to, okay, what does a long-term, goals for myself, for our family look like? And
Mm.
surfing is not conducive, really. I mean, the pay, the lifestyle, it's a lot of fun, but as we
Mhm.
wanted to settle down and raise a family, this
Right.
was her right there was my motivation to look for a more stable path. And at that time, just before when my wife was pregnant, I applied for an internship at Adobe, working on their video editing software.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, amazing company. I am actually still there, so that might come into more of the story as we
Oh,
go on.
interesting. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yes. So
Um, so had you started working for Adobe at this point or not?
yes, I was probably 6 months employed at this time, so just before is a perfect timing to have, health benefits, for our daughter and for the family.
That's
So,
good.
yeah, this
That's
was my
good.
first first career job, at least
That's
like this.
great. That's great. And this is a really interesting picture because you can tell you're a fully developed man. I mean, you're in good shape, but you still look so young. And it may be just because you don't have a hairy face and all, I don't know, but you look young and you are with this responsibility. It's like, look what I have, mom, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. It's amazing to me. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. And congratulations on Olivia starting high school.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
yeah, look at this family. This family is the picture of health, the picture of just joy.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is flash, yeah, flash forward to today, or within months. This is my family now. So I have a few new additions to the family. Olivia, that you just saw on the last slide, is right there in the orange dress next to me. My wife
Mhm.
Jessica there. My son Max, who is 12 years old, and
Oh,
then my youngest daughter, standing there with a big smile and probably takes the most after me, is Adeline.
nice. Nice. Very nice. Well, congratulations on the family. I
Yeah,
think the family freaking rocks. And it's
it was fun.
interesting, when I meet people that are in SubTo and are doing things, and sometimes they're lone wolves. Other times, it depends on where they are, but you seem very balanced, if you don't mind me saying.
I appreciate it. I'll take balance. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
try
like
to
you've
be.
got this gorgeous family. You had this youth that most would die for, sort of thing. You haven't sacrificed a lot. It doesn't seem, it seems like you've lived a bit of a blessed life. And I am very happy for you on that. Although I know that, being in real estate ain't no picnic. It's, it's also challenging. But so you started when Olivia was only a baby, an infant in Adobe, and you're still working for them?
Yep.
What do you
Still.
do for them?
So I am a kind of half and half role of quality engineer, which is essentially working alongside the developers and not writing the code itself, but testing the code and the features that they create and make sure it meets kind of the standards and what our users want.
Mhm.
And then I also wear a product management hat as well. So to kind of put out to our developers and our team of kind of what our users, people making videos, what what kind of features they expect, how they expect it to work, kind of the end-to-end story of, of what we need to build for them to create videos.
Isn't it interesting that with a company like Adobe and many other companies that know what they're doing on the internet, like digital companies,
Hmm.
um, engineers are critical. You need to have really good software engineers, but they're not always connected to the world. So they often need a people person, someone like yourself who fits in as a product manager and, works with them to say, I was able to break that. Or, you know what? This didn't make me feel good. To kind of bring in the human element so that those of us who aren't nerds in the typical software way will want to see the product
Yeah.
and use it and buy it, because it's not just software engineers that use Adobe. Everybody, artists use it.
Hmm.
Regular people use it. So it's interesting that that element of the human contact is absolutely critical and necessary.
Yeah, you are so spot on with how you just described exactly my role. I always consider myself, the go-between person, the liaison between the user and our development team, because they're brilliant people, but not all of them, want to go out and relate to the users or talk in the way, and they're, like I said,
Or
they're
think like
brilliant, but they just kind of want to they want to do their
do it
thing. They want
better. Yeah.
to. Hmm.
Yeah. And when you're like, that might seem genius to you, but it's counterintuitive to the way I would want to do it. And looking at other people who are using it, I'm telling you, it's not worth the effort you've put in. That sort of thing. There'll be like, but putting out a product that isn't going to be a joy to use won't be a successful product.
Exactly. Yeah, you're spot on.
Wow. I am so impressed and I'm very happy because not only did you have a nice start with, being homeschooled and doing what you want to do until you didn't, and you have a great family, but you also have, what I'm assuming is a decent paying position in a very useful role. Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Incredibly blessed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankful.
So I can see that you would have come into, how did you first get interested in real estate? And how did you get into SubTo? Because this is not only a life that's rich with opportunity, but hopefully that you have funds, that you're not the starving artist or sportsman. So talk to me about, it also is Jessica working, or is she with the children?
She is now, as of the last year, starting to work at their school, part of on their helping more with kids that need extra help. So kind of teaching, but helping, yeah, for those that might need additional attention in certain subjects. Yep.
Was she working when the kids were growing up?
No, yeah, she was able to stay at home.
How nice.
Yeah,
All right. So we've
very
got
nice.
this picture of you. We're moving along. And I want to know how you first got interested in real estate and how you met Pace. And did you do the wholesale thing? And what did you do? Talk to us.
Yeah,
Bring us a little bit up to date.
sure.
And do you do any other things that are, income producing or of interest?
Yeah. All right. Well, let me try to squeeze this all in here. So in
I don't ask
um
for too much.
no, so I'll just try, yeah, just help bring me back on track if I start going off into yeah, somewhere beyond what you've even asked me. Um, so in 2012, right when my son was born, I was able to buy a home in Santa Cruz. This is the market, was right at the bottom. Interest rates were right at the, low threes. This is something that in my lifetime, obviously I've never seen. And I just never thought growing up in California that it just didn't even dawn on me. Like I'll own a home someday. I wasn't kind of raised like that, to strive for those things and to even think that way. But when my son was born, I was able to have time off work, and I was just driving around, just letting my wife take a break, taking the kids out, and just getting out. And I saw a home for sale, and I just stopped and looked at it, and it was the very first home I saw. And I'm like, well, that price is, I mean, it's a lot, but now I have this new job. Maybe like I gotta see what if I could even maybe I could afford this. And we're living in an apartment at the time, so this was just out of nowhere. And I spoke with a realtor that I knew in the town, and he introduced me to a local bank, and they're like, yeah, like you could afford this. I was like, really? Like I didn't even believe him. So ended up 2012 being able to buy my first home in California. We lived there until in 2015. My
Was it a single family?
It was a single family. Yep, just a 1,100 square foot home, but only about three lawn blocks to the beach. I mean, so this was an amazing location. So I didn't need a full fix up, but it was. I still, it's kind of a dream come true, an amazing starter home. So we're in the home for 3 years, and Santa Cruz. I mean, it's one of my favorite places in the world, but it's also kind of riddled with crime, drugs. It's a sad. It's really unfortunate because there's so much beauty, but it's just tainted with just
Mhm.
a lot of sadness, around it, homelessness and everything. And raising my kids there was tough. Like, we'd walk down to the beach again to enjoy just an amazing sunset over the Pacific Ocean. And my kid picks up a crack pipe, my 2-year-old on the beach. And I'm just like, no, like, no, 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 this is bad. Okay, we're going this way. Oh, there's like this homeless encampment, through this beautiful field that we usually walk through. And it was just kind of like sad, frustrating, and just trying to figure out, my wife and I, like, how do we raise our family here and do it well, protect them. But yeah, it is just different from how I grew up there, where I just rode my bike around freely. My parents send me out and I come home for dinner, that time of that time of thing. But we ended up, my sister actually moved up to Idaho. My eldest, who got me into surfing, was the one family member that actually moved away and up to Idaho. So she met someone, moved up to northern Idaho. And
Heather, what did you do?
yeah, exactly. So she moved up to there in like 10 years earlier, and I went up to visit a few times, and I always thought, like, I couldn't wait to get home back down to the beach. It felt like kind of a Groundhog Day type of living. I didn't have kids at the time, so I did not see any appeal to it. But we went to visit there kind of right around that time where we're kind of struggling being in Santa Cruz. And it just kind of took me back to that childhood feeling of, you go to the park, you see everyone, you run your downtown, and you see everyone, you see friends and family and people that you're on the sports team with. So we were just like, I think we want to move. I think we are going to try it. And my family couldn't believe me. Friends couldn't believe me. Like, wait, what? Why? Are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? There's anger, there's sadness, but I'm like, this just feels like the right thing to
what
do.
Brandon said.
Wow.
Moving from Santa Cruz to Idaho. Bummer.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding.
No, the sentiment was there, and I couldn't even believe it. I mean, I just had to tell myself, I felt like I needed to go up there for just to give my kids a better experience. And I didn't feel so claustrophobic with everything going around me. My job, they let me work remotely. So I just took my job. We moved on to 5 acres of land,
nice.
into a kind of a dream home, looking at the mountains from our place, and kind of give my kids that experience, that I felt that I had growing up. So there was definitely some serious withdrawals, especially come wintertime, shoveling snow and all that. It was hard. But
wait, weren't you tempted? I don't know. Do they have skiing in Idaho?
Yeah, they have ski, snowboarding.
That's like on frozen water.
Yeah, I had an ATV, and I'd pull the kids around, like attach a sled to it, and we had tons of fun. But it was a different experience, and had to learn to enjoy nature and things in a different way. So like I said, my wife and I had withdrawals, but what I think what was neat is this opened up the door to, when I moved up there, we ended up renting out our house in Santa Cruz. So I didn't sell it at the time.
Good.
But that, well, the story, we'll continue on, but so we were renting the home and got a taste for being a landlord and someone paying my mortgage and, paying down the debt of the property. And I got, without even knowing really anything about real estate at the time and the value in that, it was still like, this is cool. Like, we have this home and it's, actually generating us some cash flow. But after some time, my neighbors around the area, mostly just one neighbor, was just a nightmare to deal with. They were complaining all the time, and I had the best tenants ever, professionals, no kids, but they just always found a way to complain. I was just fielding more calls than I would like, and I'm like, well, I can't bring in better tenants because these are honestly. And I asked other neighbors, and they're just
what sort of complaints would they have?
Like it kept escalating. It started off with, oh, their lights are way too bright in the yard. Like, there's outdoor, like, mellow lights. We can't sleep at night with these, lights on. So I asked my tenants, hey, could you, like, the neighbor's saying this, can you give me like an idea what's going on? They're like, yeah, they're just our stream lights, and we're usually in bed by like 10. So they're not on later than that. I was like, okay, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to take them down, but thank you. Try to be mindful. Yeah, Robin. Yeah. What? And then it started, oh, now your neighbors are mowing the lawn. And I'm looking at the time when they called, and like, it's 6 o'clock, they just got off work. They're trying to mow the lawn for the evening. The yard is like 20 by 20. It'll be done in 5 minutes. And then it turned into, they're lighting off they're lighting off fireworks into our property. I call them, ask other people, like, no, kids in the neighborhood are lighting off fireworks. And again, it kept just going, like they're trying to burn down the house. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this again. I wasn't thinking in the sense of like holding on. I wish I had,
Robin says you should have sent them sunglasses.
yeah, exactly. Thank you. Noted for the next time.
Yeah.
But it ended up with all those things, and I did convert my garage into a studio at one point, and without permits. And they had made threats that they were going to call the city on me, and I'm like, well, now you're complaining all the time. Now you're going to bring in the city and try to get me fined. And California is notorious for being just horrendous to work with as far as the county and city go. So I was just decided I'm going to sell it. At the time, the market was amazing. At this point, it's nearly doubled in value.
What year? Oh, nice.
2016.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, the end of 2016. And I just thought, I don't know if I'll ever do better than this. Of course, hindsight, I'm like, all right, I would have done better. But that gave me, like, I got that taste of real estate and having been.
You did sell it? Did you sell it?
I ended up selling it.
Hey, you should have sold it to those tenants.
Yeah, exactly. But I let them deal with it.
They could have gone over and said, come on, complain to me.
Yeah, that would have been great. So I'm taking notes. Yours, Robin's suggestion, yours. All right. So, but with that, I had a pretty nice profit on, what we took home. And then it's like, okay, I like real estate. I like this idea of owning it. What can I do with it? So I did what I don't know if it's as popular anymore, but around, in the 2017, 2018, if you type in real estate into Google, Bigger Pockets shows up. And I just consumed all their podcast, watched all their stuff. David Green just talked about like BRRRR and building teams out of sight. So I just went all in and pursued that. And I ended up doing a BRRRR in 2018 end of 2017 in Oklahoma.
Oh,
and
yeah. So that was a distance.
Yeah. So he talked about, I forget the book name. I should have it memorized by now, but basically buying long distance. That was David Green's book. So I did it, and that was successful. I know pace hearts on BRRRR now, but I actually was able to pull out all of my money, and I did a reinvest, and I did another property out there as well.
Oh, so you liked Oklahoma. You're like, okay, this is good luck.
Yeah, I started doing a bunch of research. Oklahoma, just the price point, what I saw in the market at the time, the 1% rule. So basically, I used Bigger Pockets formula, and it ended up working pretty well. And then at that time, after 2 of those, I didn't get all my money back out of the second one, and then I'm like, oh no, my money's running dry. What I really love real estate, but how do I continue doing this? So I started looking at actually, I guess before that, this is what I did. I ended up doing 2 flips locally as well. I'm not
in Idaho.
In Idaho, yes. And I don't know anything about flipping. I was just on YouTube. I was watching stuff. Actually, Jerry Norton. It's funny that he is kind of made his way into the SubTo world, but I was following his stuff, and I was watching everything about him. That really opened the door. That's going to take the blueprint for me to hire someone, because I am not skilled whatsoever with doing anything. My wife could attest. And was able to have some successful flips, but my money again was just, I put my money into it, and for those 6 to 9 months was tied out. So this went into late 2019, where I started just Googling, okay, real estate, no money. Like, I think I was even putting in like creative ways to, buy real estate, not even knowing anything about creative finance. And sure enough, Pace Morby, for any of those who don't know what I'm talking about.
You had
Pace,
that cornered already.
yeah, he was just growing. I mean, he only had maybe like a few thousand followers at that time. But I started watching him and trying to implement everything that he was saying at the time. So this was late 20 into the start of, or sorry, late 2019 into the start of 2020. And at that time, he brought up, he's like, I'm going to start a mentorship. He just put it in one of his thing. And I was like, well, that's cool, but I don't need a mentorship because you're telling us everything that you're doing. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what else is there to learn? Because you're like, he talks about his business and what he's doing, and he was doing live seller calls at the time and publishing them. Like, so you're telling me how to talk, you're telling you how to negotiate, how to buy. So I ended up, even before doing a deal, partnering, doing basically, partnering with a wholesaler. When Pace talked about that with someone up in Spokane, Washington, which was about an hour from me. So I was this creative, specialist because I was watching Pace YouTube videos, and still have this deal today. It was my first creative deal where we bought seller finance and then selling on a lease option.
Wait. So the wholesaler was located in Spokane,
Mm-hmm.
but you were still in Idaho.
Yep.
Borders didn't mean much because you'd already succeeded in Oklahoma enough to know that shouldn't stop you. So you and this wholesaler partnered up, and he went hunting for what you told him to look for while you were, putting to practice what Pace was saying.
Yep.
And you got your first seller finance that way.
Yeah, got it. And they did all the negotiating.
Pace knows this story. Does he know this?
I don't know if Pace knows this one or not.
It's pretty remarkable to think that he wasn't charging anything yet, because we all know he started with the free stuff and even had some challenges getting people to, follow through, because he said he explained that. He's told the story enough times that people don't value things unless they pay them. But here you took that action. And like Chris Keeler said, you took the action even though you didn't know everything.
Yep.
And you did it long distance with a guy, a wholesaler. You were taking chances, and yet you got a seller finance.
Yeah, I know. It was
awesome.
Incredible. And the tenants have been, I mean, the story, will change here, but I think, you've seen, I feel like I've just been super blessed and still feel blessed, but like, I had so many great things handed to me, throughout my life with,
what happened
with all these opportunities.
With that particular deal? Did the whole seller get a fee from you, or did he?
No, we stayed in, 50-50.
50-50.
We're still, we have one.
Is he in SubTo?
Nope.
Oh.
We never joined. SubTo. And we've done a few other things together, and super neat. Actually, it's a brother sister combo, wholesalers up in Spokane.
Nice.
Great people. And the lease option goes until next year, so they'll have the chance to exercise it in 1 year. And I think they will.
rented it out on a lease option.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and it's everything. It's everything that Pace said too, right? Like he's like, these lease option buyers, they actually value the property because it's their own, but they're renting it from you, and
right.
And I literally got the call one day, after a year or so in the house, and they said, "Hey, would you mind if we update, put some new windows in?" I was like, "Absolutely, yeah, I don't mind at all. Like, that's great."
The house is still mine, right?
yeah, exactly. And there's a plumbing thing. Just want to let you know. And they just, it's been great.
Nice.
So I guess just kind of Oh yeah, so to join, sorry, I told you I need to try to stay on track. So this
You're
was
good. You're doing good. I love this. So does that bring you to, like when did you decide, okay, he's worth the money, or he's putting up walls, he's not giving
yeah.
me all the lowdown, I got to join.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I never felt that he was putting up walls. I kept just feeling like I really don't need pace. Like I don't need to join. Like, why would I join? Because he just continues. I mean, he was just growing his reach. He was putting out more and more content, and I was like, he's giving more and more. Why? But I started reading. He had the free. He just started the free Facebook group at that
Mhm,
time too. So
mhm,
that was brand new. But I
mhm.
kept seeing, people that said, "Hey, I'm in Pace's SubTo group," and like it's amazing. Like you have no idea how amazing this community is, and it's like, but really, like I feel like I'm in the community already without being in the
Right.
community. But I just saw that over weeks on end. But I think he started in March 2020,
Mhm.
and by June 2020, I started reaching out to people in the group and was like, "Hey, so I'm hearing and seeing that the group is so worth joining. Like, can you tell me why?" And it was pretty much unanimous, like unanimous across everyone. Just like Pace is, you talk to him. We're all in the group, like working through things together on live calls. We're doing 6-hour Zoom calls, a day with Pace on there. He's calling our sellers for us. And I'm like, wait, if Pace helps me close, if I get him to call like one lead and he closes it, like that's one deal, makes it up for it, and
Right.
then some. I mean, that was it. So it didn't take long after that where I'm like, I'm going to join. So yeah, the end of June 2020, I joined, and I think there was about 150 people at that time, 175, somewhere like that.
Okay,
Right,
that's
those,
pretty cool.
yeah, those low, yeah, hundreds. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it's just been wild. Each time I see Pace, if I get to see him at a meetup or some event, I was like, Pace, look at what you've created. Like this blows me away. I thought we were in this little niche thing, and now you can't
Yeah,
go anywhere without being recognized.
exactly.
So yeah, so cool.
Well, once you got in, at the beginning, I don't think it would have been it was overwhelming because you had 6-hour Zooms and stuff, but it's not like now where you come in and you go, holy crap, the vault, no
Yeah.
more nothing, just the vault would take me, a year and a half to learn more. So what did you do? Did you become
Yeah.
just like watching Zooms all the time, or did you accelerate? Talk to us about the beginning stage.
Sorry, we're having network issues. So, all right, I'm back now.
So I wanted you to talk to me, us, about the beginning stage, because did you just get in and sort of become a bit of a sitter because, you're watching so much, or did you accelerate? What happened to your growth when you joined?
Yep. So I was moving pretty quick, but at the same time, um, I didn't. I saw the value in community, but I didn't really understand and put myself out there as far as like partnering with people as much and building that really tight network nearly as much as I wish I ought to have. I had, kind of reasons because I have a W-2. I didn't feel like I could be as available as some people
Mhm,
might need. A
mhm.
lot of people at that time, real estate was like it. They were all in. So I guess I had some self-doubts. Like, I don't know if I could, give as much as you need, or I'll be as helpful to you, as you. So I didn't felt like I might be kind of sucking up some of, more than what I could give back. And then, and there's no one in Idaho. There's no one in Washington. Seattle was like the closest thing.
Right.
So I didn't feel like I didn't have that proximity to really join, go side by side with people as well. So, I kind of went like I was following everything and trying to help out. I was talking with a lot of people, where I was in the daily dials, with the team, and we had our Northwest accountability group, which is like 4 of us, but spread through like Utah and Washington and Oregon. So yeah, it was just a kind of a different time, but I tried to just build out my own like group. Like I hired a VA. I was I had cold calling. I was doing the follow-ups, and I was doing that all relatively locally as
Got it.
well.
But that's wholesaling. You were doing wholesaling.
Well, yes, but I was hoping to acquire. I
Yeah.
was hoping to turn it into a creative, pretty much follow up with everything creative, because I didn't really want to wholesale. I don't like the idea of trying to sell, but I also realized I didn't really like the idea of trying to, even though I was reaching out to people in need, the foreclosure, bankruptcy, things like that, or expired listings, I still felt like I was trying to take from them, and I had a hard like kind of mental block, like I'm trying to get the best deal I can from you, even though myself I'm going to structure this in the best win-win situation, but I still had a hard time trying to make that sales pitch to them, to close a deal. So I wasn't very good at that, and I was kind of realizing that. And also I was starting to just felt like I was helping a lot of people, which was I wanted to do, but I was on the phone trying to stop foreclosures for them, trying to get the bank to do reinstatements and loan modifications. But then with my W-2, I also felt like I wasn't able to even help the sellers as much as I could, because they're like, what's the update on the loan mod? I'm like, in between my work calls and family things. And I'm like, I can't be there for as much as I want, even for the seller too, just to help them. And right around this same time where that was happening, my wife wanted to move back to California.
Oh, she came to her senses.
Yeah, you could say that. So this was in 2021. My wife wanted to move back there, and then I was trying to figure out, how do I be involved in real estate. If I pick up a move, what's that going to look like? And I was, talking to Pace at that time, kind of like, how am I going to be involved? I'm not the best, working directly with sellers. And, but I really love it. And I hate seeing everyone else, advancing so quickly. And I'm just kind of stuck here. And then that's when he said, like, you have your own skill sets, your W-2, like make that your superpower. Like most people are trying to get out of their W-2 because they hate it and it's sucking life out of them. Like your W-2 is like giving you life. You're excited about it. Like you're lucky to have that. Hold on to that, as long as you can, and then use that to your benefit. So the start of 2021, that's when I pivoted to more of a lender. So PML. This is before Gator was a thing too. So I was kind of doing somewhat of Gator before Gator was Gator.
Okay.
Being a PML, partnering on deals. And so that was
all within SubTo?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I stayed all within SubTo, and this is kind of where the story changes a little bit,
because you're moving from being a landlord to being a lender.
Mm-hmm.
To a certain degree.
Yeah.
What was it like? Were the people like, I've squawked about the shenanigans that had been going on. I've talked to some of the shenanigan makers, threatened them. Oh, did I just say that out loud? I mean, encouraged them and things of that sort. I've done everything I could, and I was delighted when Melissa said, I should take care of this. And I was like, damn me, right, you better, go for it. Was that an issue back then, or were people pretty much, because it was smaller, clean with each other?
Yeah. Well, and this is where it was a kind of a big wake up moment for me, because I joined the SubTo when there was just, I'll just say a handful, even though there's kind of a lot of us, but compared to what there is now, it really felt like still what's being preached today. And I will just say right off the bat, like, it's amazing how like solid the community is with
Mhm.
15,000 people in there. I mean, by and large, there are just really so many good people. And as I said in your intro, I saw picture after picture of just people that I think are just genuinely just amazing people and doing amazing things, for one another, for
Mhm.
sellers. And, so I kind of kept that mindset of, we're this small community. We all got in because we are like-minded people. We all want we all want to serve each other, and put others before ourselves. But that's not necessarily everyone's MO. And on top of that, I just think there's a few things that contributed to it. Is that just like real estate, the market was amazing from the time the mentorship started
Mhm.
in 2020 into 2022. And Pace even talked about it. I mean, he said, like, hey, there's some headwinds coming, watch the flips. Of course, I kind of I chose to ignore some of that. And like, this is a great deal. And you know what, this gentleman here, this guy here, like, they're the top, they're the top guys. They are doing multiple deals, a month. So I relied on more like the person and the status, who I kind of assumed and thought they were,
Mhm.
then I put like underwriting the deal in the backseat, and just said, I want to work with this guy. So I'm going to just put myself out there. I'm going to fund the deal because I want to do business with him. And when you see people put on a pedestal,
Oh, I know.
you just you're excited. I was excited, and the lending side was kind of new
Yep.
to me because I controlled all my own deals before. I controlled where I put it and how much and all that. But with other people, I was still excited to partner. And again, in my head, I'm thinking, we're all in this together. Like, you
Right.
succeed, I succeed. So let's get this done. So, I mean, I've had roughly 100 deals, I would say,
Whoa,
so far,
really?
throughout
100
this
deals?
time. Yeah. Yeah, and
Cool.
some are small, some are,
Yeah, that's
some are
okay.
just,
That doesn't matter. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, some are EMDs, short
Mhm.
flips, funding, PMPs, long-term fix and flips. So overall, I would still say I'm batting a pretty strong average,
Oh, that's
but I put a lot of money out there too, that is, I know some is not coming back to me, and I know some might. So this is, I think I said it in I don't know when I said this, but so I'm repeating myself, but it's not the Gladiator reference. So it's not, like, adversity is going to come. Hard times are coming for all of us. We know, right? But it's how you deal with it and how you handle it when things are hard. And I've always, when things don't go as planned, it's that, when bleep hits
Yeah.
hits the fan, it's like, okay, so what are we going to do? And my mindset is, when I go into these deals with people, like, we're in it together.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. What's the best solution? And for a lot of this, it's all my money is on the line. So for the people borrowing, it's like, walking away is a kind of a easy option to them. And I will say, there's been a handful that have just chosen to walk away, chosen not to answer calls anymore, not to reply. And I don't know what it is. Like, I can't totally judge why it is they're making these decisions, because I
Mhm.
have seen a few guys come around and actually do the right thing, and it's going to be a slow go. It might be a 20-year payoff that I just created with them, but I'm seeing them trying to work through and own, take responsibility for that. um
Yeah.
so that's
Unfortunately, it's less common than we would like.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very much so. So that's been, thanks, Brandon. Good to see you. Uh, so that has been, something that now, like, because I've lost a lot of sleep. I've spent way more hours and time that I could be giving to other people, to my family, to growing my own business where I'm just trying to get back, what is mine, and trying to do it in the most gracious, kind, patient way.
Why do you have to be patient and kind? I'm going to tell you guys, anybody out there that I lend to, I will not be patient and kind. I will come and rip your eyes out if I have to. I mean, I'm an old biddy, but I'm not. Why do I have to be patient and nice?
Yeah, there's nothing saying that you have to, but it's so no fault there.
On a message that Elena had, where she was talking about mindset and how we should be as kind as we can, and I wrote a long tirade about how I don't have to, and then I left my phone for 2 seconds. I came back. It had vanished. I was like, okay, I don't feel strong enough about it to rewrite it, but I just think that it's not okay to ghost people.
Yeah.
And if you're going to treat me with that kind of disrespect, I'm going to do what Abraham Gray does. I'm going to foreclose, period.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm learning from him how to protect myself. And he hasn't had to foreclose very many because people know he will. So thank you, Peter, for giving me the opportunity to say, I will foreclose. Sure. You're a better person than me, I suppose, or I don't know.
It's not.
It doesn't have to compare, but boy.
And trust me, cool. I am going through that now. I have about 10 people out there that are in default. And again, some are working with me. I have some foreclosures notices drafted up, and I'll just take a moment since you mentioned Abraham. A shout out to Abraham. He is an amazing human too. I know he has. I feel like I'm busy, but he's managing so much, and I just appreciate him so much that he'll actually respond immediately to someone at the time like he didn't even know. Asking questions. He's giving a great feedback, and that's been something that I think has just been really great in the group over this last year. Has really Pace and the community have stepped up and actually, and Melissa, how to protect yourself and putting emphasis on that. And now I've used that kind of as like what I feel is my new calling in the community, is trying to help, those that are just getting into lending and partnering and things to think through. I mean, there's a lot of people out there giving out great content. I see Jonathan. Hey there.
Yep.
He's one of those, connectors now that are putting together solid deals and really looking after, the lender as well. And I think that is just crucial. Those are things that weren't talked about as much because the mentorship wasn't about, how to be a PML and lending and all the ways to safeguard. There's a lot of failing forward, but when you're failing forward with putting a few $100,000 out there, your savings and all that to try to make it happen, it's, there's proper steps to take, which I've definitely failed to do. So, I own that side of the thing. I didn't know what I didn't know. There's probably time to pump the brakes, but a lot of the content that's being put out there now. So I will absolutely foreclose on someone, but what's more important is just setting up all the expectations, doing all the paperwork up front. That way it doesn't really become so much of an issue.
Exactly.
It doesn't need to be.
If you have the right to foreclose and you have it set up straight, then, and they know it, there's no surprise, especially if they ghost you. Like Abraham has said that he'll give them an extra month if they're communicative. They start paying something, but if they don't, he's just like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And that's what I think too. I think that if you're straight about it and you do it, then there's nothing cold about it. It's just, that's business, because that's what they're doing.
Exactly.
So you're still lending.
I still lend. There's a few people that ask me like, why would you still put yourself through this? But that's where I go back to is, there are this group, there's just people in general, but, our communities that we're a part of, they're just amazing people doing amazing deals. There's so much opportunity. We're at, like nothing else out there. So I still think it's an amazing place to be. There's amazing opportunities. And like I said, kind of my mission is to try to help educate people well. And so it's on both sides though. I think I did a talk one time, like my tagline was, how to be a good lender and a good borrower, because it's a two-way street.
Both ways. Yes.
And I think, that people just need to know that and kind of how to do it, because it's an amazing, there's so much great opportunity, and we're given so much, and so many doors are open to folks in this community that, as long as you're doing things the right way.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I hadn't really expected to say this per se, but I would love to lend with you.
Awesome. I would love the opportunity to partner with you.
I would love that. I would love to, put money together and see how you approach a deal, and, learn from each other. And I would love that. And for those of you who didn't quite hear it or catch it, please be aware he's lent on all of these things: fix and flips, gap loans, subtails, wraps, apartment syndication, personal loans. What? Okay. Morby methods, EMD, and double closes. But he's also, although he's still helping people and moving forward, no longer doing it without protecting himself 100%. I am super, super, super impressed. I cannot believe that you have done 100 deals and that you would have 10 that are still outstanding. Not on air, but at some point I'd like to get that list. Yeah. I'll at least throw darts on the dartboard. I'm just joking. But not really.
Yeah, you do.
Because there are a couple of people that if I see them and they're smart enough, they'll turn around and walk away. But if they're not, I'll be saying, hey, buddy, and giving it to them, because I think it's statistically lower that old biddies get hit than other people. But so I'm going to test the statistic.
I love having you in my corner. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay. Well, do you have any last words of suggestion to other people who might be starting off right now, especially in the lending field? Have you got any words to say to them?
Yeah, I guess in short, the things that come to top of my mind is just never feel pressure. Never feel if there's any like, if there's anything sitting wrong, like, just that's a good time to kind of pump the brakes and really rely on people that have been through this. Don't have any pride about asking for help, asking, for someone to jump in.
That's what the whole community is about, asking.
Yeah, it's scary. And like I said, early on, I didn't really know how to put myself out there. I didn't want to take from someone's time and that. But I mean, there's a wealth of knowledge and in this community with people that are really experienced, that have been through this, that want to help, that will help. And it will save you so much time, so much money, so much headache, and keep you young. So just, I guess, leaning into the community. Don't try to be about yourself. Don't just look for the dollar signs. It's too good of a deal to pass up. There will be more. And lean on folks that have been down this road before.
I think that's very sound advice. And, I want to say thank you, just like Chris is saying, and Robin and all. Guys, don't feel pressured. Don't feel pressured. And the deal of the century comes along every single day.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Effie.
Very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. See you next week.